Hey guys, it's Delora Dabbles here, and it's been a while since I've done any spiritual videos or any tarot videos or anything like that, but I've started to get my own mojo back during this whole crazy time in the world, and I went to my witchy shop and I could not resist this book. Um, it is Llewellyn's Complete Book of Ceremonial Magic. Very interesting. I've always been curious about ceremonial magic, but I've never really been. I'm not too much of a practitioner. I'm much more of a meditator, if that's a word. I enjoy meditation. I enjoy self reflection. I pretty much use my tarot for that. Um, yeah, so let's get into this because it really does have lots of goodies in there. First off, I'm just going to read through the different topics in the contents so that you understand what all is being spoken of in this book, what all it's going to talk about. Book 1 is Foundations of Western Magic, which is basically just a history of magic, and they even talk about the fact that, well, we know that early humans had a magic system. They had some kind of belief system because of the way that they buried their deceased ones and the kind of grave goods that were found with those bodies, just from an anthropological perspective. So it's like, yeah, magical roots and belief systems go as far back as humans ourselves do. Book 2 is Kabbalah, and I really liked this chapter, how concise it was. I have several books on Kabbalah, and this wasn't anything new to me, but it was a really good overview and had some interesting correspondences in them, and I think it's a great review of Kabbalah. Because I know Kabbalah so well, I don't know how it would be for someone who doesn't know Kabbalah at all, if it would be a good beginner's text, but it does explain things relatively well, so I would venture to say yes. Book 3 is Planetary Magic. So this is the timing of your rituals. It talks about planetary hours, planetary days, and it taps a little bit into astrology because you need to know a little bit of that and the history of that as well. That's what I really like about these sections. A lot of them have a historical explanation component to the chapter itself that kind of gives you more context, that I feel like some books on these subjects lack any historical context. These chapters in this book have that historical context in most of these. I just finished the alchemy section, and I have to say, it also has a pretty good historical tidbit and interesting stuff. And it actually gives you like two like literal alchemy lab exercises to do, tincturing and elixiring. And I thought that that was super fun. Now, again, I don't want to give away any of the secret sauce in here because this is a brand new book published this year. So I don't really want to give away all of that stuff and show you guys the tables in it because they just published this book. I don't want to give away the secret sauce. Book 5 is Demonology and Spirit Evocation, and I'm just now beginning this chapter. And of course, these chapters are all called books. I'm just calling them chapters for brevity and conciseness, and to make sure that you understand that I'm still talking about the one book. Yeah, the very first part of this is basically all talking about how, like, the stigma of demonology and how it's not really what you think it is. And, yeah, and again, some historical context, which is nice. I haven't read the rest of these chapters, but I've skimmed through them. They have the magic of Abramelin. And he wrote a grimoire, or some grimoires. It has to do with a grimoire written by him specifically, and I like that. Next, and now, like, we're moving into more specific things. I feel like Kabbalah, planetary magic, alchemy, all of those were very broad kind of things, especially foundations of Western magic. Those were all very broad and kind of touched on everything and multiple things. It's getting more specific as you move on. Enochian magic and mysticism, that's John Dee and Edward Kelly, which is interesting, and I don't know anything about them. So there's a lot of very interesting, because I know that John Dee really liked diagrams and drawing things out. So there are a lot of diagrams in that chapter that, if you're interested in that, are probably good. Golden Dawn, they have a whole chapter on the Golden Dawn, which I like. And they even talk about its influence on other ceremonial magic systems, not just the Golden Dawn magic system, which I liked. I like the idea of that. They have a whole chapter on Thelema and Aleister Crowley. The next one is Polytheistic Ceremonial Magic, which kind of, again, looks like we zoomed in on these specific things in the middle of this book, and then at the end we're zooming back out again. So now it's talking about how paganism and ceremonial magic kind of intersect and where they intersect, which I think is cool, because a lot of people consider like pagan magic, folk magic, all this stuff to be low magic and ceremonial magic to be high magic. I don't like those terminologies and how they set up a hierarchy. And I like the way that they make an intersection between the two, because you can do both. You can do whatever you want, and you can definitely do both. Book 11 is the Magician's Tables, and I looked through this. There's a lot of Kabbalah, a lot of planetary magic, and it kind of seems very helpful for all the stuff that you read at the beginning of the book with alchemy, planetary magic, and Kabbalah. They're very interesting tables. I haven't seen tables like this in other books, so I do feel like these Magician's Tables are very unique to this book, and I like that. The epilogue is a future of ceremonial magic, which I have not read yet. It's relatively short, but it's basically just trying to postulate where ceremonial magic is going to go in the future, right? So all in all, this was a really great book. I have the paperback edition, which is $40. You can get a really nice hardback for $70 or $75. Yeah, more than double the price of the paperback, so you know I got the paperback. I'm not about that unnecessary spending of money. When I can get the same thing a little bit cheaper, I will. It is interesting stuff. It is edited by Lon-Milo DuQuette, who I really, really like his work. My favorite book by him is his book on the Thoth Tarot, just because I love tarot in general. This kind of touches a little bit on tarot. It's not a tarot book, but it does actually talk about tarot in the Magician's Tables, which I thought was very interesting. I like how they did that, so that you are not left out if you like to combine ceremonial magic and tarot. I hope that you guys enjoyed this brief review of this book. I think that it is a really, like, if you're wanting to get into ceremonial magic, but you don't really know what topic you want to get into, or if you just want a good general background of what it is and what all this term encompasses. This term gets thrown around a lot, and I feel like whenever you're just now falling into the rabbit hole of all this, you might not really know what that means. You might be drawn to it maybe because it's called high magic, and maybe you like high fantasy novels. So you're drawn to it for that reason. It does seem a little bit more like prestigious than folk magic. Honestly, I find folk magic to be more familiar, whereas ceremonial magic has a lot of components. There's a lot of stuff going on, and there's so many different systems and ways of doing it. Now, of course, this is only focusing on Western ceremonial magic, so there is nothing from other parts of the world in here. It's strictly a Western magic book. But I don't think you could do a book on all ceremonial magic across the world and it still be a decent size, because this is still a pretty thick, pretty heavy book. And let me just show you, the text is quite small in this. So that's a lot of words per page, and it's a lot of pages. There's a lot of content in here already. So yeah, it is a good overview of Western ceremonial magic and a good starting point to figure out what system you might be interested in. Yeah, I think it's a good read. Generally, it's a good thing to have on your shelf. I consider this a reference book and not a spell book. So if you're looking, like, it will have, some of the chapters will have example spells in them. Some of them won't for obvious reasons. And the things that they do have are pretty beginner level, pretty intro level. So there are things for you to try from each tradition that you can try and be like, okay, I think I like this, or I think I don't like this, or wow, that was really potent, or, my energy just doesn't combine with this system very well. And you can get a good sense of multiple different systems with only buying one book. And that's why I like it so much. Because I don't know if I'm into ceremonial magic. I don't know what kind of ceremonial magic I would be into if I got into it. So this is a really good jumping off point. And the writers they chose to do each chapter is written by a different writer. So each chapter is specialized to that system by someone who knows that system really well. So it's not one person writing about all these topics. It is a different writer each chapter. So I really, really like that collaborative effort, and I know that every chapter is written by someone who knows that content well, instead of it being written by a jack of all trades kind of person. It's, yeah. I hope that you guys liked this review. If you would like to see me do more book reviews, please hit like on this video so that I know that this was good. If you are interested in this kind of stuff, please hit subscribe. I do a lot of fiber arts, but I also do tarot, and now hopefully I will do book reviews if this takes off, and I'll do several more just to see if they take off. This isn't going to be the only one, but if you like where this channel is going, hit like on my new videos so that I know that I'm going in the right direction for you guys. And as always, please hit subscribe to support me. And until next time, happy dabbling and bye-bye.